of time this morning, but feel free to ask questions, and hopefully you'll find something helpful. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So take just a couple seconds. So let me know when you can see the library website. Can you see that, Tiffany or Dana? Is it up?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to jump right in. So when you start, you'll want to navigate to library.bsc.edu. And so there you'll see the Discovery search in the middle of the page. Below that, you'll see a gold ribbon with some additional search tools. So catalog, database, eJournal search, and then research guides. We're going to look at each of those individually, but first I want to point out a few things under the Start Here menu in the upper left-hand corner. So if you click the hamburger icon, you'll see a drop-down menu. There's a lot in here, and I encourage you to spend some time checking out this information. There's information about library hours, policies regarding checkout, etc. So please feel free to dig into this and see what's available. But this morning, for the sake of time, I'm just going to point out a couple of things. So if you go to the For Students section, there is information about ARC tutoring. So I'm going to click into that. Now, you've probably heard a lot about ARC already, so I'm not really going to go into detail, but just to remind you that as a BSc student, you have access to tutoring services completely free of charge, and which are taught by your peers. So the tutors who teach the classes are BSc students as well. So if you're interested in tutoring, you'll want to reach out to Ms. Dacia May at arc@bsc.edu. And I'm going to click over to the home page as well under ARC. There's additional information here. So this year, tutoring is being handled virtually via Microsoft Teams. So you can click the link that's on the page there to join. At the bottom of this page, you'll see a calendar with the tutoring sessions listed. So you can see today is highlighted. If I open that up, it's got the full list. So if I click on one of those, it gives you the information about the time, it lists the tutor name, and then it's got a link for that Teams channel. Again, everything's virtually, it's handled through Teams, but these are drop-in sessions, so you don't have to have an appointment prior. You can reach out and schedule one-on-one appointments if you want to, so you can contact Dacia about that. But for the drop-in sessions, you can just show up via Teams, join the meeting and listen in and ask questions. So I'm going to jump back to that same menu again. So I also want to make sure that you can access the interlibrary loan request forms. So we have two of those under the same menu. If you go to Start Here, For Students, and then find the interlibrary loan section, there are two links there. So I'm just going to click the one for the book request. And so what this is that from time to time you'll come across items, materials, books, articles that BSc doesn't own or subscribe to, but you can still get those if you wish through interlibrary loan. So, so for instance, if you have a book that we don't have, but you like to get your hands on that book, you can fill out this request. Your information goes at the top. The book information goes at the bottom, and always just suggest that students fill out as much as you know. So if all you know about the book is author title, just plug that in and click submit. If additional information is needed, someone from the interlibrary loan team will reach out to you and let you know. But so when you submit that request, we'll reach out to other libraries to get that book for you. And I can go ahead and tell you if it's an article, those typically come back the same day. There's a really quick turnaround because most of those are shared electronically. So they just email us a PDF of the article and we'll send it on over to you. If you're wanting a physical item like a book that's coming from a different library, there could be a few days in between from when you submit the request until the library receives that book. And you'll be emailed when it comes in, and you just come to our library and pick it up. So that is interlibrary loan. So again, there's more under the Start Here menu. I encourage you to look at that, but for the sake of time, we're going to move on. Before we do any searches, I'm going to point out the research guides to you. So on the gold ribbon below the search box, all the way at the far right, you'll see the link for research guides. So if you click into that, it's going to open up a new tab. It takes you to the home page for our guides. You can see that they're all listed by subject. If you wish to see them listed out alphabetically, you can click all guides and you can see there's 77 of them. I find that it's easier to navigate if they're organized by subject, so we'll keep it at that. So what the guides are, it's just information for using library resources and finding other information about research and completing assignments for courses in certain subjects and disciplines. So we've kind of packaged that all in one place for you. So for instance, if you're taking a history course, you can come down to the history section. You'll see that we have 7 guides here, and some of them are rather specific. We've created some of these for individual courses. So for instance, if you're taking Dr. Shantz's IDS 115 History and Film, there's a research guide for that particular course. But there's a generic guide for history. It's the first one that you guessed it. It's called A History Guide. So we'll click into that. It's organized by tabs at the top. There's a whole lot of information here, and I don't have time to really get down into the weeds. But just remember to check out our guides when you have assignments, when you need help with navigating library resources. This is kind of a good first place to look. So for instance, if you have questions about primary sources or where to get them, there's a tab for that. So we have a lot of links available. Some of these are to databases that we subscribe to. Others are links that are to websites that are freely available. But you can see there's information about archives at the bottom. So there's just a whole lot here. When you get ready to write your paper, there's a tab to help you cite your sources properly. So for history majors, it's common to use Chicago Turabian citation style when formatting papers. So we have the full manuals in the library that you can get your hands on if you wish. But there's also some links here with information that's online. Purdue OWL, Purdue's online writing lab, is a good place to look as well. So check out that link. So there's a whole lot of helpful information under our LibGuides or research guides. So I encourage you to check them out. And again, to get there from the library webpage, it's all the way to the right on the gold ribbon. So please check out the research guides. So with that, I'm going to move on into a discovery search. So we'll look at discovery and the catalog, and then I'll show you the databases. We probably won't have time to search a lot of those, but I'll still point them out and show 2 or 3 new ones and kind of the differences between the vendors and content providers. So we'll look at that. So again, when you hit library.bsc.edu, you'll see the discovery search box front and center. It's a very broad search. It searches across multiple platforms, pulls in content from different databases, pulls in books from the catalog. So you'll find magazine articles, you'll find journal articles, you'll find videos and audio clips. So there's just a whole lot that's pulled into a discovery search. And so some of the librarians like to say it's the most Google-like thing that the library has, and that it's a very broad search and pulls in a lot. So it's a good first place to go when you're beginning to research a topic. So I'm going to conduct a basic keyword search for vaping. It usually takes a few seconds to load the page, depending on how many results come back. So with a broad search like I used, you can see that 89,000 results have come back. So that's a lot. That's too many to get through. So we'll look at some ways to narrow that down in just a moment. But first, I'd like to point out a few other things on the results page. So the Start Your Research box is at the top. You won't see this with every search that you do, but if the topic is broad enough and generic enough to have an encyclopedia type article about it somewhere, you more than likely will see this. So it's just it's a quick overview about that topic. So you're welcome to check that out. I can let you know that when you search Discovery, you're not searching automatically all of the resources that BSC Library subscribes to. And not to really get down into how all this works, but there's competition between content providers and vendors, and some, the ones they each like to promote their own materials. So when you're searching Discovery, this is an EBSCO provided platform, and so ProQuest is a different vendor, for example. So we're not seeing content from ProQuest automatically in the results list, but we have some buttons to the far right. So if you wanted to check out ProQuest Historical New York Times, you could click that button and it pulls in the search term vaping. So it'll open up a new tab and take you to ProQuest's database, and you'll be searching the same keyword. So that's just a way to search some additional resources manually, because they're not automatically searched and you won't find them in the results list here. So in the results themselves, you'll notice the items they have hyperlink titles. So you can click into those and it's going to take you to what we call the detailed record page. So here you'll see bibliographic information about the item. I want to point out the subject headings, they're hyperlinked. So if you find something that looks really relevant to your topic or where you're taking your research, and you want to see other items that are a lot like it, you can click into these subject headings and Discovery will redo the search for that subject. So I've used the broad subject term vaping. Electronic cigarettes is probably more specific and a better subject term to use. So I could click that and redo the search to see what happens there. Note the tools to the right. So I can email, save, cite this record. I'm not going to demonstrate all those, but I do want to point out the permalink. So when you're sitting on a record and you want to save this for later or come back to it, don't grab the URL that's in the address bar, because that will not take you to the permanent home of this record. So you want to open up the permanent link that's here, and you can copy that, share it, email it to yourself, but that's what will bring you back to this specific record. So be mindful of that. And finally, the full text availability is going to be shown to the left. So you can see this one's available in PDF full text. So I can just click that. It's going to open up the PDF directly in the browser. So I can see the article in its entirety right here. I can download it, I can save it, I can take it with me. But it's just that easy if the full text is available. I'm going to click back to the results list. And I know I'm going real fast, so feel free to ask questions. We'll address those at the end. So you can see, again, we've got a lot here. We've got 89,000 results. So you'll notice the custom links that are under each one. So this is the full text again. If the full text is available, you'll see a similar link. It may not be PDF. It may link out to the publisher site. It may be HTML. But if we don't have access to it, you'll see a link that looks like this. So just like the web forms that I showed you for Interlibrary Loan, you have links that help you fill out the forms for items. So item 2, we don't own it or subscribe to a product that provides the full text, but we can still get it. So if you just follow this link, it's going to take you to a form that looks like this. Your information goes at the top. And what's handy about this, if you use the links in Discovery or the catalog, then the item information is already populated for you. So you don't have to fill any of that out. You just enter your information at the top and click submit, and then the Interlibrary Loan team will follow up with you on that item. So we can narrow this a few ways. So we've got limiters and filters to the left. And if I limit to full text online or available at BSC in full text, what's going to happen is all those items that have the Interlibrary Loan link attached to them, essentially everything that we don't provide full text to, those are going to go away. So you can see all of them have some sort of full text available. Articles at BSC, that's what we call our link resolver. It's going to take you to an additional page that has a series of links that will take you out to the publisher site where the full text is available. If EBSCO provides the full text, you'll see one of these links, PDF or HTML. You can access those directly. Linked full text, that also takes you out to the publisher site. So there's a variety of full text links available, but some of them may take more than one click, but they're all going to get you to the full version of the article so that you can read it. From time to time, you'll encounter problems with these links. Feel free to email someone in the library and let us know, and we can get those fixed for you. You can also say that we're looking at a variety of formats. So we've got periodicals, editorial and opinion, that's like a newspaper article, academic journal. This one says report. So there's a lot of different kinds of content here. So if I select scholarly peer-reviewed journals, we're going to narrow the list down again, and it's going to eliminate pretty much all of the books, all of the magazine articles, all of the newspaper articles, and most everything that's going to be left, barring a few exceptions, are going to be from academic journals. And so that means that, so scholarly peer-reviewed, that means that in general that they're accepted among the academic community. So because the journal that's published them, they go through a peer review process. So if it's a history paper, for instance, they share it out with other historians who essentially read it and say, okay, this is legitimate and we can publish this in this journal. So you can limit to that, and you can trust that everything that you're seeing is going to be scholarly, which that's not always the case, especially if you use Google or things like that. This ensures that the content you're using for your papers is going to be accepted in the academic community, so your professors are most likely going to be okay with what you find here. And you can see with doing using those limiters, we've dropped down the results list substantially. So we were at 89,000, now we're about 8. That's still too many to get through though. So you can use the advanced search, and you can adjust your search terms, add in different words. So if I wanted to go with vaping and college students, you can see that now we're starting with 3,000 instead of 89,000. So that's much better. And you can use the same limiters to the right. I didn't mention date, so you can scroll. You can use this slide to see only the content published, within the last 4 or 5 years, if you wanted to. Which for this topic, you're probably not going to find a whole lot that goes back too far, because it's a rather modern phenomenon. But that's all I want to show with Discovery. There's a lot more to see. So I encourage you, if you have questions, let us know, or come into the library, and we're glad to help you out. So I'm going to go back now to the main page, and we'll look at a catalog search next. So the difference with this, so Discovery is going to pull in from, of course, the catalog. So it's going to pull in books, but it's also searching across lots of different databases and other platforms. When we search the catalog, we're looking at only the physical items that are located in the library, if that makes sense. So the books, DVDs, CDs that are housed in the library. So I'm going to enter a search. So you can see with this, we've got 191 results that came back. So by default, when you search the catalog, you're only looking at the items that BSC Library owns. If you wanted to see more, there's a couple ways to do that, so we'll look at that in just a minute. But just from the results list, a couple things I want to point out. So you've got the permalink right here in front of you. So if you want to get back to this record, you can just click that, copy, paste it in an email, or save it ever how you want. So you can see another thing offhand. So this one's an ebook. There's a button to access it directly. Item 2 is a print book, and so with it you can see that it shows the availability. So it's not checked out, it's currently available. It's in our general collection upstairs, and it also shows a call number. So the call number is what you'll use to actually locate the physical item in the library. So as an academic library, we use Library of Congress or LC class subject headings. So all of the call numbers will start with letters, and that represents the LC class and subclass. So, but they're organized alphabetically upstairs, so it's not real difficult to find what you're looking for. But if you need help, just grab someone at the CERT desk, and we'd be glad to point you in the right direction. So I'm going to use the limiters to the left. So two that are kind of important with sort of manipulating the results are the sort by and held by. So again, right now we're looking at only what BSC Library holds. If I click Libraries Worldwide, that's going to expand that. And so you can see now we've got over 10,000 results. We've really expanded that search, but we're still seeing all the items say held by BSC. That's because we're sorted by library. So that's going to, by default, it's going to push the items we own to the top of the list. So if I click this and change it to recency or best match, for instance, then you can see several of these will say held by other libraries worldwide. So we don't own those, but you can still get them through ILL. So if I click into that record, just like in Discovery, there's a link. So there's a button here under check availability that says request through ILL. I can follow that. There's an extra step. You have to authenticate through the proxy if you haven't done so already. But it takes you to a form. It looks a little different than what you see in Discovery. But the book information's at the top. You fill out the information at the bottom and click submit. So you can get that through Interlibrary Loan if you wish. So jumping back to the results list, I'm going to go back to what I had before. So limit to BSC and then library. And we're going to look a little deeper into the different formats. So for this ebook, we can jump straight into the ebook from here, or we can open the record. And notice when I open the detailed record to the right that the results list is still available on the left-hand side. So from here, I can view the description, detailed record and Discovery. We've got hyperlinked subjects that we can use. So this is the complete bibliographic information for the book. Under check availability, you'll see that we've got the link to view the ebook, and I'm going to click into that. So this particular book is provided by EBSCO. So we're going to leave the catalog and we're going to go back to a page that looks like the pages that we were looking at in Discovery. So you've got the same tools to the right, the same information in the center, and so the full text options are available to the left. Now there's an option for full download. If you have Adobe Digital Editions installed on your machine, then you can download the book in its entirety, and you're essentially checking it out for a loan period. So you get an encrypted file for that book, and it's good. Say if you can check it out for 3 weeks, then you can access that file for 3 weeks, and then after that loan period is over, then the file expires and you can no longer access it. So you're welcome to download and check out the books if you have Adobe Digital Editions. But if you don't, you can still access through the full text option, so PDF or EPUB. So I'm going to click PDF, sort of demonstrate what this looks like. It's going to open the book up in the browser, so I can read it in the browser if I wish. I can click through page by page. There's a contents list to the left-hand side. If I want to jump to a particular chapter, I can do that. And at the top, there are tools. I can save, email, print. So if I click Save Pages, notice that I can save 100 at a time. So if I wanted the first chapter, for instance, if I wanted the current page and the next 20, then I can save PDF. That's going to download that PDF to my machine. I can take it with me, and it's not encrypted in that it's going to expire after a loan period. You get to keep that. You get to share it with others. So that's a way that you can access portions of the book. And if you don't have Adobe Digital Editions to download the whole book, and you want the whole book, you can still do that. And in this case, for instance, if it's a 300-page book, you can grab 100 pages, you can close this and then open it again, grab the next 100 pages, and then do that a third time, and you'll have the whole book, but it'll be in 3 files. That is one workaround for not being able to download the book if you want to do that. So I'm going to close that. We're going to go back and look at a print book. So I'm going to click into this one, and notice that it says, so it's got the call number on the results list, but it also says more local formats, older print book and older ebook. If I click into that one, under check availability, I'm going to see the call number as expected. But there's also a drop down for other editions and formats. So if we click that, let me shrink that so it's a little clearer. You can see that BSC Library owns 3 copies of this book. So there's a 1995 edition that we own, both the ebook and the print book. And then we have the print book for a 1998 edition. And so you're welcome to click into any of these. So we were looking at a print book originally, but if you prefer the ebook, you can just click that link. It's going to open up the record. And then under check availability, you've got view ebook available, so you can look at the ebook. So just be mindful of that. If you're looking at a particular book, say it's an ebook, but you prefer to have the print book in hand, just check that out. We may also own the print book as well. So be mindful of that. So I'm going to click back, so just so that we're looking at the full view again. So we've looked at libraries worldwide, we've looked at the sort. We've got additional formatting limiters here by date. So if I wanted to see only ebook, for instance, I could click that, and it's going to eliminate all the print material, and everything that I'm looking at going to be ebooks. So just be mindful of that as well. We also have an advanced search in the catalog. So if I wanted to expand that a little bit, add in terms, I can do that just like in Discovery. So you can see, instead of starting out with 191, I've got 24. So be mindful of that as well. So we have an advanced search. But that's all I'm going to show with the catalog today. Again, let us know if you have questions. I'm going to jump back and point out a few things with the databases, and then we'll be done. So the third item on the ribbon is database search. So we click in, so it opens up this green box, and you can see we have a few links to directly to certain databases. We can also look at databases by title or by subject. So I'll look at by subject. So by default, we're looking at general. You can see the first one. I want to point this out. This is a new product that we have. So the library now offers a streaming video platform in Avon. So we can look at that. This is provided through Alexander Street, which is a ProQuest company. So it looks a little different than the EBSCO products that you'll commonly see. But you can see there are over 70,000 videos available here. You can search at the top, and if you see something that you want to look at, you just click into it, and it automatically starts playing the video. So there are films, documentaries here. They're catered toward the academic community, so for students in colleges and universities. So there's probably a lot of helpful information here that you can access. Note that you can't download these. You can watch them in the database. So if you go to Avon, you can see them there, but you can't take these with you. There are limitations on that. So that's one. I can go to arts and humanities, and I can scroll down to history, for example. I can see all the databases that BSC Library subscribes to that have a focus on history. This one is relatively new as well. We purchased this last spring. So again, you just follow the links. All of these look, or a lot of these look differently depending on the content provider, the publisher, the vendor. But so you can see we're searching in both series. So you just plug in your key term and click go to search there. Under social sciences, recently I've gotten a lot of questions from students in Psychology 101. So we have 2 databases for psychology. So if I can click into one of those, These are going to look familiar, a lot like EDS or Discovery, because they're provided through EBSCOhost. So you can see we're searching only in a single database instead of across multiple databases. And I can also add, so if I click Choose Databases, you can see that I'm searching PsycInfo. If I want to add psych articles as well, or any others, I can just select those, click OK, and now you can see that we're searching in both of those. So that's just another way to kind of narrow your focus in a particular subject matter when you're searching our databases. But I don't have time to do a lot of searches within those, so I'm going to move on. And I'm going to point to this just to let you know what it is. So our eJournal search is if you know of a particular journal title that you want to browse, you can search just for that one title, like Alabama Review, for instance. So it's going to bring you to a list. Usually what you've searched for, if it's an accurate search term, it's going to be at the very top. You can click full text access. If you see available in VSC catalog, in print, microfilm, or online, that most likely means that we have some print issues available. These with the dates beside them, those are online full text access. So through Academic Search Premier, you can see that we have this from '02 through the present. And we have 2 Gale databases that we subscribe to that have it from '07 to the present. So you would just follow one of those links to access and browse Alabama Review online. So with that, I'm going to end. I'm going to stop sharing. We can field questions now. I hope that was helpful to you.
Hey, Scott, before you stop sharing, really quickly, can you, because you did tutoring really fast, can you show it one more time so they can see where they go to for Writing Center and the Math Lab and ARC, just so that they can make sure?
Absolutely, yes. So start here menu for students. So we have the tutoring section. You can see there are all 3 links are available. So I can click on any of those. But if I just go to ARC tutoring, we're sitting on the tutoring page. So the information's there. We also have links for the Writing Center and the Math Lab. So everything's there. You have contact information on who to email to ask questions. So this is probably the best page to go to in terms of finding out who to address for questions. And if you want to look at the home page again for tutoring, you've got the link directly to Teams. So when you're ready to join a tutoring session, you've got to join via Teams. So you can follow that link to do that. And again, it's got the calendar at the bottom. And there's more contact information here again for the Writing Center and the Math Lab. But from here, so it's the Start Here menu. If you're on the library website, Start Here for students, and then the tutoring section. Is that good?
Yeah, and then I think math and writing are doing in person. Am I right? And then ARC is virtual.
I think so. From Daisha could probably speak to that better, or maybe
it actually
Tiffany.
says that if you go back in there to where it says, I think it said it right there. There was a page, like go back to students, and then go to centers. Go to centers. Okay. Yeah, and then there you go. That tells it. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Walk-in tutoring, and then the Writing Center. Okay, I think those are both in person.
Okay, great. That's good. Okay, so everything should be on the same page. So with these 3 tabs, you should find the information that gets you what you need to know, or allows you to contact the person that can help you explain further. So, okay. All right. So do we have any questions yet, Tiffany?